financial burden, the personal reasons, you know, he's a stranger. I don't want to talk about my personal life all too much. Their main concern was substance use, and I don't use substances anymore, so...
Well, what led to you, because you don't have any, I'm going from my memory, but you have not been in trouble before this, have you?
When I was a juvenile,
Right,
I got a...
but as an adult, you didn't have any convictions, or did you?
No, nothing serious. I had, like, possession of marijuana charges.
Okay. So the problems that you had with anger and things of that nature, what did that stem from?
Well, I guess it depends who you ask. I'm sure substances may have been a factor, but I had a lot of years where I used substances and didn't have a history of anger. I mean, a lot of my anger came from arguing with family.
Well, arguing about what?
Just differences in opinions or whatever.
With regard to drugs?
No, just, you know, when you live with your family and you have differences, you argue about stuff, so.
Okay, well, didn't some of that get rather severe? Didn't your mom say you couldn't live there anymore until you knocked that stuff off?
Yeah.
Okay. The drugs, meaning, right? And
What?
not that your behavior during the time, right?
Right.
Okay. And I would imagine her suspicion is the behavior was driven by the drug use. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it could have been a factor.
Okay. Well, what other factor would there have been?
Just,
I mean, were you getting pissed off when you weren't using drugs?
yeah, I mean, I fought with my family before.
About what?
Just whatever. You know, because I still live at home. I'm 27. You know, we're kind of on top of each other a little bit.
Okay. When's the last time you had a knockdown, drag-out argument with your mom?
Around the time of discharge.
Okay. I'm no genius. I'm no psychologist. Okay. But it seems rather evident in this case that the main driver of all your problems has been your drug use. Okay. Now your only violation what was that last violation, Megan?
Failure to report.
Okay. So you don't, that was back about a month after this sentence or thereabouts. It seems to me it's pretty darn likely that your aberrant behavior in the past has been related to your drug use. Despite and I don't know whether you believe that or not, okay? You ought to believe it because now you've got a period of time going where you haven't had a problem, right?
Right.
Okay. So it's rather obvious to me that it's likely driven by drug use. And if you're not using the drugs, your mind is clear, you're functioning, and you're not getting into these contentions with your folks. Where are you working now?
Same place, a construction company.
What are you doing?
I'm a laborer.
What kind of labor?
Right now, we're putting an underground shaft in to access a sewer.
Okay.
Do a lot of pipe work.
You working full time?
Yeah.
When you were doing this counseling with Signature, how often were you doing it?
Every 2 weeks.
And that was not in person?
No.
It was on your phone?
Yeah, none of it's been in person. Even the assessment was virtual.
Okay. And when you had these sessions after the assessment, what kind of things did you talk about with this person from Signature?
Well, like I said, their main concern was my use for substances, so he'd ask me if I had cravings, do I use? I would say no, I don't use anymore. He'd ask me a little bit about what I do for fun, try to get to know me, just stuff like that.
And did you talk about any of the situations with your mom that led to you getting kicked out of the house for a period of time?
No, he never talked about that.
Okay. How many sessions did you have?
I think roughly 5.
5, like for how long each time?
They started off as 45 minutes, and then the last 2 or 3 were about 20, because he said they were going well and there wasn't much to talk about besides his questions and concerns.
Okay. And then you were paying for those out of pocket?
I paid for the assessment out of pocket. I haven't paid for any of the sessions.
And what's your balance there?
I don't know exactly, roughly 500. I think they were a little over 100 per session.
Okay. At some point, did they tell you that they wanted their money before they continued?
Yeah, and I had even asked, I was willing to continue with the sessions and worry about payment at the end after he had said, you know, therapy's all clear, but he couldn't do that, so it just kind of faded out, and I was hesitant to pay, so I never followed through with it.
Okay. Megan, how often does he come in?
Twice a month.
Okay. Besides, how many hours a week are you normally working?
40.
What-
Besides,
Go
lately
ahead.
some weather days where we call off because of, you know, snow or cold, but 40.
Other than working?
Lately, nothing. I'm at home.
All right. Did you get anything from Signature? Any summaries or anything like that?
So I received a copy of the initial assessments from April of last year, and I had some phone contact with Eric, the counselor, regarding how things were going in the sessions.
Okay. Do you know whether they have any summaries? They should have some, I would assume they have some summaries written up.
As long as the release is broad enough, I should be able to obtain the progress notes from the
Okay.
counselor.
All right, here's what I want to do. I want to bring you back here maybe in a couple of months. And sometime in maybe mid-March, you can get a date, George, from Maria. I want to get a hold of these documents from Signature, look at them and see what, if anything else, we're going to do with regard to this, your terms of probation, okay?
Okay.
I'll tell you what, why don't we make it like toward the end of February, okay? And so I don't want you going back there. I want to look at these notes first we can get from Signature, and then we'll do a sentencing then and figure out where we're going to go from here. All right? So, but, like I said, seems to me that if you stay off the pot, then you seem to be on an even keel. But we'll see when we come back, all right? Don't leave until George talks to you about the date, okay?
Okay, thank you, Ron.
All right.